to Bill LaRose. He's going to give us a DPW presentation. And we've been waiting for this. So excited.
First, hello, council members, welcome. The rest of you, hello, I haven't seen you in a while. So I was asked to come in and give a brief overview of our water system. Glad to do it, glad to come in anytime and talk to you. I'll give you a brief overview and then I'll hit on some key points, interesting facts. And then if you have any questions, I'm glad to answer. I'll start it. For groundwater. Water is drawn on the ground. Enters the well house. We're also limited treatment, which means we don't have a treatment plant. So in the well house, we add 3 chemicals: chlorine for disinfection, fluoride for teeth and bones, and phosphate to keep the iron down. After that, water enters the system, travels anywhere there is demand, and then into the water tower. Fills the water tower to a predetermined level, shuts the well off. Then the water bursts out of the tower and then flows out into anywhere there's demand in the system. Hits a predetermined low level. Well starts. Our wells alternate, so the one well doesn't run all the time. They alternate through the wells. We have 2 wells running now, 3rd one under construction. We'll have consumers in to put power in, last I heard, November 29th. So end of this month, we could see that well up and running mid-December, as long as everything goes good. With that being said, pretty much basic overview. I'll go into some interesting facts. As I said, 3 wells total, 2 running, 1 will be running shortly. Someone is in the wells 7 days a week. See what's going on, make sure everything's okay, do samples. The water's tested in the wells in the end. All test results are sent to Eagle. So what that means is everything we test for, the results get sent to Eagle. They see them. If there's any problems, we hear about them. And fortunately, we don't have problems with our water. Our water's very
Health department, right?
We don't send anything specifically to the county health department. The only thing that goes to the county health department would be the consumer confidence report.
Okay, that must be what I'm, that's like twice a year, once a year.
Here.
That's like a bonus test, right?
It lists all the tests for the year.
Let's let him finish this presentation, and then if we have questions, we'll do them at the end. Please.
Well, 4, the oldest of the wells was constructed in 1964. Well 5, 2001, and then well 6 is a new well, which is 24-25. Our pumping average about 600,000 gallons a day. That can be higher, that can be lower. Fires, we've seen that go up 900,000, 1 million gallons in a day. We have 29 miles of water main in the city. So if you compare that to city streets, we have 14 miles roughly of city streets. We have almost, well, more than double the amount of water main than we do streets. We flush twice a year. Reason we flush, turn over the water in the system. Dead ends, things of that nature, or water doesn't move much, flush to move it. So other reasons, try to keep the brown water down. One complaint we do get is brown water. Our system's growing fast right now. I say we're going through growing pains, so to speak. Water's going in different directions than it has since the start of our system. We're looping things with the new development and then the apartments. We're going to see that for a little while. We've seen that in the past. Not uncommon. Water flows one direction for 50 years. Imagine sucking through a straw the same direction. Then all of a sudden you blow through it. Water main valve stuff isn't perfectly smooth. You've got little, edges in it and stuff. Well, that iron settlement will sit on one side because it's went one way forever. You reverse the flow. You pick a little bit of that up. Completely harmless. There's no harm in brown water at all other than the aesthetics of it. At this point, we have no known lead services in our community, which is very good. I've been doing this 31 years. I haven't seen one. 30. That's very good. Our water tower, 300,000 gallons, 135 feet tall, and was constructed in 1970. I mean, it's kind of interesting. You think about it, you look at it. That's how high it is. Some things we're looking at in the future. We're gonna have to add another tower at some point with the growth we're experiencing and the way we're growing. It's gonna come. We need to replace our aging infrastructure, older parts of town that have been there for a while. We're working on that with our Ash Street project. Like to see that continue as much as possible. That affects water tower infrastructure, and the older infrastructure affects our ability to grow over time. So want to make sure you take care of your core as well as expand with new. Last thing I want to hit on is complaints. We don't receive a lot of complaints, but we see a lot of complaints on Facebook. Unfortunately, somebody complains on Facebook, we have no way to track it, see what's going on, see if there's possibly something we need to address or take care of. We just simply ask, if you have a complaint, call us. Somebody's available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Email us, either the DPW or the new utilities department. Either one has the ability to take care of your complaints. So that's all I have. Any questions?
I do. The water tower was built in 1930, 70. It was close. How often do they need to be rebuilt? Like,
Painted.
because I know it gets painted every
Right.
7 to 10 years, whatever, but do you know how long, like, do they have to be replaced? Yeah.
Basically. You know, anything has a life expectancy, but you or I,
I have to worry
your
about it.
kids, my grandkids aren't going to see that water tower. It's in very good shape. It's been maintained very well since it was constructed. They drain it 2 times a year, or I'm sorry, every 2 years. So they do a visual inspection every year, drain it every 2 years, where they actually go in, wash it out, take a look at the coating, make sure everything's good on the inside. Annually, they look at the outside coating, look for any problems. Yeah, so a long lifetime. I've only seen videos of them coming down. I've never seen one come down. So.
And then I guess I just have a comment. Recently we noticed that we were having a lot of brown water ourselves, and we actually flushed our hot water heater, and that completely dissolved all the dark. So maybe that's something people need to know and know how to do. We just went on YouTube and it taught us how to do it, and it was a great difference. And I know that we live in the older part of the development, so I'm sure that you know, people have that issue, and I thought that would just be good for some people to know that you can do that.
Right, again,
So-
that's kind of a hot area for brown water because of the new development. That line's looped all the way through that development now. So things are flowing a little different. You go through years of massive growth, and you go through years of almost no growth. And those are the years you don't get a lot of the brown water calls, but happen to probably fill your hot water heater at a time when somebody was drawing water. You were flushing, you know, somebody took a bath or something, pull all that water into it. You're gonna be pulling out of it.
Settlement over the years, you
Yeah,
know, it just
yeah,
happens, so,
exactly. Yeah.
but that's all I have. Thank you.
Anyone else?
What kind of pipe is in the ground?
We've got every kind of pipe you could imagine. Majority of our city is ductile iron. We have some AC pipes.
Does that pick up a lot of iron along the way?
Ductile iron does,
The problem?
yes and no. I mean, you have to understand that every community has its own dynamics, their own problems, their own type of issues going on. Somebody, and I've never worked in a surface water system where they draw water out of Lake Michigan, but I'm willing to guess that they don't have Grand Rapids, Kentwood, Levinson, they don't have the iron in their system that we do. Our water isn't hard by any means, but that iron forms. And ductile iron pipe has a cement lining. in it. So a little bit aggressive, iron sticks to it. That could be part of it.
Place new mains with that kind of pipe.
Yeah.
Okay, it's,
It's the best to use at this time, so.
Thank you.
Cast is still out there because I've got cast iron coming into mine.
Yeah, there's still some cast on.
May want to mention along lines of dirty water. How frequently you flush the lines?
Oh, sure. I missed over that. All right, yeah, I had that written down here, twice a year. Spring and fall, we flush, usually. I'm gonna say May and September is when we flush. Then of course, anytime we have issue main break or something like that, we may flush a line or we get. It's another thing we do, if we get a call on brown water, we can go out and open a hydrant and clean the line up. We do that quite often. There's been times we get a call for brown water and we find somebody hooked to our hydrant.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah,
yeah.
it happens. You know, our favorite comment is, well, Grand Rapids allows us to do it. We pay money to do it there.
Yeah.
You also have the instances like the fire on Fifth and Muskegon,
Oh, yeah.
where there's a flush there. And occasionally that will rile things up and people will see it, so.
Yeah.
Uh,
And you're pulling water from all different directions, and when you're fighting a fire, you're pulling a lot of water fast from all different directions.
Okay.
Anyone else?
We haven't, and maybe this is a fire department question, have we had higher than normal number of fires that have required water in the last year?
Most of the stuff, when you go through our reports, go through that, we're probably about. I think we're less than-
We're under.
Yeah, we're actually having, we're doing much better on our fires going through. That doesn't mean that we're not fighting fires, because we have lots of mutual aids that we go around the area, so.
I was talking more the
Within-
water
within the
system.
City, yeah, we're definitely
And I-
got.
Egan was just up the road for me, so I, you know,
Also, and the chief was talking about the assistance to other fire departments. Frequently, it's much easier to come back to the city to fill the tankers than it is to try to draw it out of some of the creeks and the supposed dry hydrants, because they're more dry than what you would think. It's awful hard to draw the water through them to fill tankers up, so.
We do try to have them use their dry hydrants as much as possible to go through it, because we don't want them to have to travel a long distance to get that water, because that doesn't serve a purpose either, so. Depending on its location.
Oh, thank you very much for the presentation.
Great job. Thank
And
you
thanks
so
a lot
much.
for all you do.
You are welcome. Come anytime and not just to give a report.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought people like to see time.
All right, we have no public hearings and I need a motion to adopt the agenda.